Hey there, welcome to my channel. Today I am looking at some CJ Stroud mechanics. Um, I played professional baseball and was a pitcher, so I would say that I'm an expert, or at least have some expertise in throwing. I'm not a football expert, but I wanted to talk about some things that I saw in CJ's mechanics. Two things are hip shoulder separation, sometimes the elbow is included in that, and his elbows low. This results in a lack of velocity in the high and throwing side miss. So I got a couple throws queued up from the Patriots game. So this is actually a touchdown throw. So CJ is going to throw the ball here. He's going to be throwing this ball to Kirk. And two things I want you to note is his hips and his shoulders are in alignment. His shoulders are above his hips. His front shoulders above his front hip, his back shoulders above his back hip, and he's got the ball in his chest. So he has now separated his hands. He's going to throw, and I would say that there's not much change in the difference between his front hip, his front shoulder, and his back hip and his back shoulder, and even his elbow. He's going to throw this ball, and his elbow is still very low. This is a low elbow position. This is going to be you really can't throw from this position. Your elbow has to get up. So he's going to be late to get to his elbow up. And what a late elbow is sometimes called dragging. And so if his arm is dragging, he's going to have a very common high and outside miss, or high and arm side miss, excuse me. And as this throw goes on, you can actually see that he's kind of fading away from the throw a little bit. You don't want to see that. You would actually like to see his backside get up and over his front side, and that's not happening. He's actually fading away a little bit. And this throw is completed, but it's high to Kirk, and probably should be a little bit more out in front of him. So this is another example from behind where you can really see these two things on display and what it results in. So CJ is about to break his hands here, and his shoulders are right above his hips, each respectively. And so as he goes to throw this ball, he has now broken his hands, and I can still see that his letters here, his name and his number. We should see this front shoulder close off, and we actually should, his elbow should be coming back behind him somewhat. And so his elbow is still low, and he's going to throw this ball. That elbow still is not getting up, so you can see here he's got the football up in the air, and his elbow is still down below his shoulder. His hips and his shoulders are still in alignment, and as we move forward, you can actually see this ball. So this ball is now out of his hand, and you can see the ball's nose is actually pointed up. And so this is a throw across the middle. We don't want that ball's nose up. It should actually be kind of down. And this throw is again high off his hands. It's wet and intercepted. So the next throw we have here is another interception. CJ is going to be throwing this ball to Kirk here as he moves outside. So he has now decided to throw this ball. His hands starting to separate. You can see his shoulders are in again alignment with his hips. I would expect this shoulder to come forward and actually up a little bit, forward and up. His shoulder to close it off, but his shoulders are right above his hips. There's no separation between the two. And even here, you can see he's in this is a throwing position because his elbow's now finally getting up, and he really doesn't have any forward body drive because of the lack of that hip shoulder separation. And he's fading away, and this ball again is high and to his arm side and intercepted. This is another throw again on the move. You can see he's starting to throw this ball, and his elbow is still low, doesn't really get behind him. His front shoulder's down. His front shoulder probably should be up higher. The back shoulder still, even he's on the run. He's got some artificial hip shoulder separation here, but probably not going to actually use it. His elbow is just now getting, even, which is really late. And he's really not even, this shoulder is totally leaked out. It probably still should probably be even closed a little bit in this position. And this is another high and arm side miss to the defender because he really needs to drive that ball outside. So I want to show where that shows up in the lack of velocity. So this is a throw that he's got a wide open. This is earlier in week 5. He's got a wide open receiver here. This DB, this safety bit on the corner. And so this DB is actually, like, this guy's so wide open here. You can see CJ has nobody around him. So he should be able to put this on a line, rip it ball. This is only, right now it's 35 yards to this receiver. So I would expect him to throw it about 45-ish, probably right in this area. So CJ goes to throw. I'm not going to look at his throwing mechanics because it's just too blurry. He throws this ball in, I know it's in slow motion, but this receiver is slowing down, slowing down, slowing down, slowing down, slowing down. And that's allowed the DB to catch up. So that's the lack of velocity that CJ has. So I want to show a good example. And actually there's one more. The very next throw is another example of another miss that happens with this mechanic issue. So this is another sort of semi rollout here. This guy's supposed to be guarding here. Sorry, I missed that. So he's going to be throwing this ball to Noel. So he's going to throw it. That front shoulder's down. It's really not totally getting closed off because he's trying to put the ball in front of him. And I would say he's more pointed towards this guy right now with that front shoulder. So he needs to get that front shoulder more up, more closed off. And even his elbow is still low. His elbow's still low. And even, like, that's even a pretty low elbow. I know that there's the more modern throwing position, but that's probably still even low for a modern throwing position. And watch where this ball goes. So he throws this ball, and that's pretty much all arm throw. I remember people telling me stop short arming it. And this is what a short arm throw looks like. So you can see CJ's jumping because he thinks he's missed him. He's missed him a wide open touchdown. Because this ball is way behind him and low. And so Noel does a good job, great body control to come back and catch that ball. But that's another missed throw in my mind. Yes, it resulted in a touchdown, but that's a missed throw because of poor mechanics. So here's an example of good mechanics. So this is the 4th and 4 play from Caleb Williams. It's another cold night. And so see here, his shoulders are still pretty much closed off to where he wants to throw it, and his hips are already open. Like, he's basically got both his feet on the 40-yard line, and his hips are very close to parallel with the 40-yard line. His elbow's already up. You can see that. Thank you for wearing the white shirt. His elbow's up already, and it's even behind him. His elbow's up behind him, and so this is a great throwing position. I know it probably looks awful. He's got 2 defenders in his face, so I use this example because he's then still able to rip this ball off and throw it nearly 50 yards in the air from that position because of good hip shoulder separation and his elbows up. Here's a more traditional throw from Matthew Stafford. I think he has very good mechanics. So Matthew Stafford, he's set up. You can actually see his front foot is basically pointing towards his target already. He hasn't even gone to throw this ball. Watch his first move whenever he does go to throw. He's still scanning. He's got his front hip basically open. He closes off those shoulders. His shoulders get closed off. And his front side hip is already starting to open up. He gets his elbow up. His elbow's already up, and he's ready to come forward. That front hip is pretty much totally open at this point. His back hip's starting to drive him, and his shoulders are still closed. That's still closed. We can still see his position, He's got his front shoulder up. And so this is good. He's got a good stiff front side. And you can see that this is a good throw because his now shoulders have switched positions basically. His right side is throwing shoulders up high. He's following through this ball. And that's what it's supposed to look like on these throws. And I just don't see these type of mechanics from CJ. So I think CJ has a mechanic problem. From my own personal experience and what, I think CJ is dejected on the sideline, is what I would say. And I think he might have some shoulder trauma, some issues with his shoulder. I know at the start of the season he started out and missing some time for shoulder soreness in the preseason, and that could be a result of poor mechanics, or some sort of shoulder trauma. It definitely might be mechanics because these are two things that he really needs to start working on. Because I think he has a lack of velocity. He can't really push the ball downfield, especially whenever it's cold and windy. And so I think teams can take advantage of that and are basically daring him to try to throw it deep. I don't have the throw, but it was a throw later in the game against the Patriots where Higgins got a step on his defender and CJ just completely underthrew him by 10 yards. Didn't even come close to hitting him. And only thing that was good from it was almost got a pass interference from the defender because it was so underthrown. So that's what I see in CJ Stroud's throwing mechanics. Thanks for your time.